Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be discussing Chapter 1, which is an introduction to case management. So, the world in which managers function is changing rapidly. Things are changing rapidly, resources for clients and things that clients need to actually be successful in life and to be able to um, reach their full potential are becoming more and more important, right? So, the time between policy development and implementation is much shorter. Many human service agencies and organizations have chosen to limit the services they provide due to the rapidly changing and the changing of conditions and the changes with Medicaid and changes with things that are going on in the society. Service delivery is affected by the current economic downturn and related conditions. Current political climate and the role of government and human services may contribute to the sense of uncertainty, right? Because right now, we have a lot of changes going on in society. Certain things are being taken away, certain policies are being taken away, which can impact a case manager's ability or a human services entity ability to actually provide the necessary resources to clients. And accounting for the role of Affordable Care Act in understanding coverage constraints and financial implications on care. So again, the political climate, society, the changing in policy all play a huge role in what impacts case management and human service facilities. So case management requires providing a coordinating service for the individuals and families served. Accountability should be built into how services are evaluated. All plans and service focus on a build up of family strengths. The ultimate goal is for the family to manage its own case. Treatment plans focus on needs, strengths, and interests. Care varies from agency to agency, from helper to helper. Case management is used to coordinate and deliver services, moving an individual through the service delivery process from intake to closure. So, case managers play a huge, important role on a treatment team. A treatment team, a multidisciplinary treatment team, can have case managers, therapists, nursing, medical providers, um, a team of individuals that are geared to help the client actually holistically meet their treatment needs, right? So case management plays an integral role in that because if clients don't have certain basic necessities or basic needs to actually um, for their family to have resources to actually have their basic needs met, their focus on treatment and the other parts or aspects of treatment can be diminished. So case managers really help clients actually figure out their strengths and what they need and resources, and actually to help the clients actually reach their full potential from a standpoint of view of getting a complete assessment of needs for that client and what that client that family is needing to be successful, and bring that information to the treatment team. So traditional case management. In mental health services delivery in the 1970s, case management was a necessary component of service delivery because clients with complex needs required multiple services. So we began with assessments and it continued through intervention. A shift occurred in the 1980s as many professionals and clients objected to the use of the word manage. Um, Terms such as service coordination and care coordination were viewed as a more accurately reflected a commitment to client involvement and, or empowerment. So again, care coordination and service coordination, coordinating the client's needs and or care and whatnot, is a term that's more used today. So many effective case managers have assumed the dual role of linking monitoring services and providing direct service. Intense case management reflects the time and financial resources committed to clients. Current case managed characteristics are an accepted way of providing human services to clients and their families. Principles of integration of services, continuity of care, equal access to service and advocacy, quality of care, and client empowerment, guide case management service delivery. So all those things guide case management delivery. Because again, we need to make sure that clients have continuity in care. There's going to be consistent care across the board. They have equal access to services, and that someone is there to advocate for clients that don't have the ability to advocate for themselves. Quality of care and empowering clients to become more autonomous and more independent, and so they can handle things on their own. Professional organizations and states have developed certification on roles, responsibility, competencies, and skills for case managers. So, case management, a creative and collaborative process involving skills and assessment, communication, coordination, consulting, teaching, modeling, and advocacy that aim at to enhance the optimal social function of the client served and a positive outcome for the agency. So for case managers, the helping professionals who perform the responsibilities of case management, Their goal is to help those who need assistance to manage their own lives and to support them when expertise is needed or if a crisis occurs. So, case management is defined as the mandated through federal legislation, has become a part of services offered by insurance companies, is now accepted by helping professionals as a way to serve long-term clients who have multiple problems. So, I run a facility for substance abuse for people who have intensive substance abuse treatment. A lot of our clients that come into treatment because of their use, they have lost birth certificates, social security cards, don't have access to food, housing, they don't have access to job care or health care or whatnot, and they've lost their ability to advocate for themselves or have any autonomy or whatnot. So our case managers play an integral role in attaching our clients to resources and getting them resources that they need to actually help them actually build the efficacy up and get back to that level of autonomy and independence, right? So they can care for themselves. So the process of case management, the ultimate goal is to empower the client, like we discussed, the building that autonomy. Three phases of case management include assessment, planning, and implementation. Doing to increase complexity, case managers need an extensive rapport of knowledge, repertoire of knowledge, skills, techniques, and strategies. The responsibility of each phase will vary depending on setting and the case manager's job description. The three phases represent the flow of case management rather than the rigidly defined steps to successful case closure. So assessment, painting that picture for what the client needs is so important. So I have to capture all this data and collect all this information on the client so you actually know what resources are needed. So the initial contact is a starting point for gathering the information. Case managers begin to establish a relationship at that time. And get the client's experiences and their strengths and the perceptions of their problems and referral sources and expectations during that time. And some of the routine matters addressed during the initial meeting are completing intake forms, gathering insurance information, outlining the purpose of services of the agency, giving assurance of confidentiality, and obtaining information releases. So gathering and assessing information. The client and case manager will become partners in reaching goals. Again, but you want to make sure the client has some feet in it and they're gaining some autonomy. Case managers must make clear that the client is to be involved in all phases of the process because, again, they have to get some autonomy and put some feet in it for themselves. The client is often the primary source of information, given historical data. Remember, they're the professionals. They're the experts. They know more about themselves than you do, right? Perceptions about the presenting problem, cultural considerations, and desired outcomes, right? So the planning stage is next. The process to determine future services delivery in an organized way. Once the client accepts the service, the actual plan addresses what services we provide. That treatment plan is so important because again, this is where the client's we're going to go through and get some objectives and get some goals and actually some interventions and what we're going to do for the client to help them get those resources and to make sure they have a pathway towards success in treatment, right? So during planning, data is continually gathered and assessed to determine whether what services will be needed, who will provide them, and what they will be given, right? So the data gathered will continuously be assessed to determine the reliability and validity of the treatment. So implementation. When a service plan is carried out and evaluated, the case manager addresses the questions of who provides each service, how to monitor it, how to work with other professionals, and how to evaluate the outcomes. Case managers must possess referral skills, knowledge of the client's capabilities, and information about the community resources. They must work closely with other professionals. Like I talked about that multidisciplinary treatment team to actually make sure that they're expanding and making sure they're treating the whole client. They must monitor the monitoring of services at this phase is important for several reasons: client satisfaction, effectiveness of service delivery, development of case managers network, and personal challenges. It's going to be important to consider cultural considerations and changes in the client's life circumstances. So case review, we want to periodically review the client's case to make sure they're meeting their treatment goals and whatnot, and they're getting what they need. Documentation is really important. We want to have written record of the work for the client. We want to have initial intake. We want to have assessment of information, the treatment plan, implementation, evaluation, and determination of the case, the discharge. We want to record any of our consultations with the client. We want to record all of our documentation, our observations, examinations, diagnosis, consultations. All those things are going to be important to go into the history of the client, and they must be kept confidential. So the three components of case management continue. So client participation means that the client takes an active part in the process. We discussed that. An important part of the partnership is the client empowerment. Make sure that client builds some efficacies towards helping themselves and autonomy towards helping themselves. We want to encourage clients' participation as has identifiable components. Initial contact, the middle phase, devoted to identifying problems and implementing services, and termination of the case. So, principles and goals of case management. The guiding principles of goals of case management is to integrate a service, continuity of care, equal access to advocacy, quality of care, client empowerment, self-determination, and evaluation. The whole person, again, acknowledging the whole person, the whole physiological makeup, social, psychological, medical, financial, educational, and vocational makeup. Right? Clients typically have problems and strengths in more than one area. So multi-problem clients are best served by integrating the needs of the services. To address multiple needs, case managers must integrate the work of many agencies and professionals, which help reduce the fragmentation or duplication of services. Integrated service facilitate effective priority setting for the client. We want to have that continuity of care. Refers to comprehensiveness of the care provided. We want to make sure that we are consistent in our service that they're provided, uninterrupted, and care must begin from the first visit all the way to the last visit, right? And make sure it's comprehensive and it's going to be any interventions are going to be in support of the environment and maintain the relationship with the client's family and other significant others. So they want to have equal access to services. Everyone in need of assistance have the same opportunity to approach and apply for and use case management services without regard of race, ethnicity, all those different multicultural factors. And attention is given to develop ways of extending access to services like fee waivers and transportation and outreach, those kind of things. And we also want to advocate for our clients. We want to make sure that they have the active process of representing the interests of the client and teaching the client to advocate for themselves, which is really important. And quality of care. Providing superior services to all clients, maintaining a commitment that respects the client and demands accountability on the part of human professionals. So, as a case manager, you have you have to be held accountable to make sure the clients have their rights are respected. We want to make sure that we are providing excellent services, high standards of care, continual improvement. We want to be effective in what we're doing, and we want the productive use of resources involved in determining the outcome desired. Client empowerment. Again, making that client autonomous, respecting the client as an individual, building their strengths and interests, placing them in a partnership role, and not just something where you're just doing all the work. They have to have some feet in it, right? You want to make sure that the client is self-sufficient, and you want to view them as view the client as a customer, so that they are asked about what their needs are, and they play a role in providing information. Self-determination, you want to allow clients whenever possible to choose goals and interventions. Again, if they choose goals and intervention, they're putting their feet in, and they're going to be more willing to actually act on those goals and be attentive and actually be taught to use the decision making or problem solving skills on their own. Evaluation, the assessment of the process, the outcomes, and the quality of the process. Evaluation takes place throughout the case management process. Both clients and professionals are involved in the evaluation of the process. So finally, case management is here to help clients actually link themselves to society, get the resources that they need, and actually manage their lives or whatnot, and get to a point where they can effectively go through treatment and effectively live a lifestyle that they can feel empowered and productive.